you've run from foster homes in 6 counties.
I can take care of myself.
I didn't really know what to expect with this movie, but I was optimistic. I'd already known about the character before, so I was really excited to see him come to life on the big screen. I thoroughly enjoyed Aquaman, so I was thinking maybe DC were on their way back up with their movies. I could only hope that this movie wouldn't shatter my desire for DC to make good films consistently. Was I disappointed? Shazam! Absolutely not. This movie felt so grounded yet out of this world at the same time. It had heart and humour, but it also had a good mix of intense real stuff. This is what the DC films had tried to do since Man of Steel, but it never stuck the landing. Aquaman was the first to really get this balance right, but Shazam, in my opinion, was the epitome of a perfectly balanced DC movie, juggling the real issues of abandonment with light-hearted humour and even sometimes dark humour.
Dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid, you've got it all.
Shazam is a story of family and of envy. Both the antagonist and protagonist are set up from the start on a journey of seeking the ideal affirmation that they crave. Savannah came from a family that didn't praise him or encourage him, which drove him to prove his father wrong and to wield the power that he craved to have. To be that ideal son like his brother. Billy was trying to find this perfect mother in his thoughts and his self-constructed memories for a stable family structure. As he got older, he even wore the same kind of coat and clothing from when he was a child, so he would be recognisable to his mother if he found her. This whole symbolism that he created of the precious moment with his mum and finding his way home ultimately falls flat on its face, and that breaks his heart. And it broke mine as well. Ultimately, Savannah ended up being a prisoner of his own emotions, his raw anger and hatred and envy towards his father, his brother, and then towards Billy. Billy was chosen, and he was not. But the difference between Billy and Savannah is that Billy had room for improvement and he seized it. As the movie progressed, he became more compassionate, started to love the family that he was put with, learned how to use his power with great responsibility. He learned how to channel that inner hero and that it'd manifest itself on the outside. My favourite character in the movie, Freddy, tells us that people would choose invisibility as a superpower because they don't feel like heroes on the inside. And if they had the power of flight, they'd fall short of that perfect Superman ideal that is seemingly unattainable. Moments like this that made me think that Shazam was a better Superman movie at inspiring hope than Man of Steel ever did. I loved that movie, don't get me wrong, but Shazam did it way better. We didn't need to be told that what he wears on his chest means hope, we were shown it through his actions. He saved the villain that was trying to hurt him and his family. That is what a true hero does. He always finds a way to save the villain instead of taking their life in revenge, to either give them another chance to try and do better, or so that they can receive just punishment. This is what Aquaman really got right, and I'm glad that they're keeping it up.
Mercy is not our way.
Maybe you haven't noticed, brother. But I'm not one of you.
I think that the casting for this movie was perfect. I believed every single actor was that character that they were playing. I loved the foster parents, the whole foster family, particularly Freddy, because he was just the funniest character in the whole movie. That kind of humour is really up my alley. Dr. Savannah was played by exactly who I thought should play him. Like he was taken right out of the pages of the New 52. They chose who played Lionel Luthor from Smallville to essentially play the same role, but more condensed, for Savannah's dad, and he did it well. Hard and cruel, but weak when confronted with power that rivals his. It seems like he's a popular choice to play an asshole parent. The character of Shazam himself was hilarious, and he genuinely made me laugh. Zachary Levi's delivery was great, and he really captured the spirit of a kid who's just been gifted powers and made the Earth's mightiest mortal. I originally was hopeful for Channing Tatum to take the role because of his childlike behaviour in the Jump Street films, but Levi definitely won me over. Asher Angel was also good as Billy Batson. His skill as an actor is very clear and he could display emotion with ease. I initially struggled to see them as the same person, with Billy acting grumpy and stern, where Shazam was jokey and loose. But after watching clips from the movie and remembering how they change as the movie goes on, I realised that it took being Shazam for Billy to finally open up and act like a kid should be able to, recapturing his lost innocence after all those years of searching for his mother. If there was one thing I'd have to change about this movie, it would be the Superman cameo. If you've seen the movie, you know that there's a small cameo from a guy dressed as Superman whose head we can't see in the shot. I know there was a big hoo-ha about Henry Cavill not appearing because of scheduling or some other pap I don't care about. But if DC are struggling with their talent, they should make room for and look after them properly to really establish this extended universe. Anyway, in an ideal world, I would change the Henry Cavill Superman cameo entirely. I'd place it here, where Shazam is struggling, trying to catch a bus that he caused to come off the highway. When he thinks he's going to catch it, the bus will stop over him, and he'd be perplexed. The camera would cut back to show that the Man of Steel had caught the bus and was flying it back up to the road. Shazam could have a real embarrassment for falling short at being a hero, and him and Superman could have a small scene where they go to a rooftop or something, and Supes would give him a bit of a pep talk about what it means to be a hero, and that's it. From there they'd go their separate ways, and they wouldn't see each other again until maybe a future Justice League movie. Shazam would then return back to the site and still have his argument with Freddy, and the movie would continue as normal. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I liked that Billy was a bit of a dick, and even used his powers for self-gain to start with. But now that he stepped into the identity of being a hero, I'd love to see Billy in the sequels become more compassionate, not just as Shazam, but as the boy. I want to see him be friendly to strangers, to the locals, to his family more, like how he was portrayed in the Return of Black Adam cartoon. The movie itself is quite self-contained and doesn't necessarily need a sequel, but I would love for it to have one, especially so I can see The Rock play Black Adam. This has been promised to me since Man of Steel was released, and it's been how many years in the making? So Shazam had a great cast, a great story, brilliant character arcs, and well-executed humour. Was it the perfect DC movie? No, not quite. But it was
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Attack, front to back, in this thing called rap. Thinking like a double rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up the treble. Radical mind day and night all the time. 714, fly, the line. Maniac, radiac, winning the game. I'm the lyric.